you are into AR and VR, and you're also trying to educate people using this technology. How do you think important is the concept of physical learning in the age of AR and VR?
Thank you, Krishna, for asking this. Yes, for almost 5 years, I'm into this AR VR industry. I'm mostly focused on VR, though more, I mean, over AR. But either it's AR or VR, both comes to the digital learning arena. Now we all know that how this terminology phygital learning emerged. This has emerged as a, it's physical learning plus digital learning. What is physical learning? Physical learning is something when you are, using your hands on learning in presence of an instructor. You are, experimenting something or getting engaged into something. And digital learning, of course, this is a digital era, we all understand that what digital learning is. When we are, joining this too, then a very powerful concept emerges, that is phygital learning. That experiencing something that is not physical, that is, maybe you can say yes it is digital, or you can say it is virtual, but with some physical gestures, physical experiments, physical intervention. So thus creating this buzz of phygital learning, and making this entire a new era of learning and changing this system, the entire education system that we are now pursuing. So that is how virtual reality and augmented reality both are very strong part of digital learning, and paving its own way towards a new era of education. That is how I perceive it.
Totally agree to that. The combination of physical and digital is what gives way to phygital learning. Moving on to Kuldeep ji, you have been into talks with multiple companies, and day in and day out, you are dealing in this domain. So, how have you seen phygital learning play an important role when it comes to offering AR, VR solutions to enterprises or maybe institutions or anybody for that matter?
Got it. So I've been in the AR and VR field from the last 5.5, 6 years now. And having worked with multiple companies, both in the AR and VR field, what I feel is, and first of all, like Ritik beautifully explained the meaning of digital learning. So I'm not covering that part, but I'll talk about both the experiences. First, starting off with the augmented reality experiences, how we have used it with multiple brands that we have worked in the past is we've been using augmented reality to overlay digital information in real time, and it helps to add the additional context and explanations of the interactive elements, maybe for an assembly line, in which you want to have step-by-step step-by-step description of all the steps which are incorporated in assembling a product, or understanding what are the entire procedures so that the training happens in a better way. Now, these simulations, which are done in augmented reality, it could be both like real time or it could be interactive as well, where all the learners are engaging with the virtual objects, and then the scenarios are overlaid with the physical ones. So, in augmented reality, this is the way that we have done in terms of physical learning. In terms of virtual reality, it's a completely proven technology now, that how it provides a complete opportunity for learners to experience the places which are not physically possible to experience. So, suppose if you want to go into a completely manufacturing environment and get trained in that, you have to stop the entire assembly line. But there's no, if you're in a virtual reality environment, there is no requirement of stopping the entire assembly line. You can create and recreate the entire environment, and in that environment you can feel and you can touch these objects and then assemble them, and all the real-time instruction steps relevant to that data can be provided to you. This can also be help. Digital learning can also help students to, or any blue collar workforce, to get trained in a personalized and adaptive learning in which analytics are also provided in real time. And that's the beauty of digital learning, that that I feel is very much important in today's day and age.
Agree to that. Like digital learning is definitely helping people across the world. It's just that we need to talk more and more about it so that everyone get to understand and become aware, like how is it, how important it is. But when we talk about that importance, it is also necessary to understand how does it differ from the convention or the traditional ways of training, and where does digital as compared to traditional stands. So I would like Dhriti ji to shed some light on this, like in your perspective, in your experience, how do you think that digital will over what uh, how will digital transform education in comparison to the traditional standards that we have been following? How does it differ, and what pros and cons do we see when we talk about traditional versus digital?
Right. So before explaining this, the difference between traditional and digital learning, I would I would like to throw some light on the root of our education system, especially in respect to India. We have a schooling system, right? And in our school, we have our syllabus, we have a proper, educational infrastructure, a complete structure, a system that is working. But if you really think about that, what we are doing, we are building characters in our schools. We are basically building characters. It's not that we are producing doctors and engineers. We are building characters for our students. Do you really feel that our education system really build characters? They are overwhelmed or overfeeded with information that might not needed in the future life. And the learning methodology that we have is completely, you can call it traditional, but I would say that that is, going to perish. These are not at all the required learning, as well as the methodology that one that actually help us students to grow multifold in their life. Now coming, then how, what is that particular learning methodology, or what is that particular information that has to be, transmitted to our students? Of course, the life skill. It's completely my personal, coming from my personal experiences and personal uh, ideas or perception, that two most important learning, this is not about digital learning or AR VR, but I want to throw some lights on this, because without putting emphasis on this, it's really hard for me to make you understand that I am working in this particular field for quite some time. It's a interest area of mine. I'm coming from that particular background, that two most important skill that a person needs the most to be successful in life. One is the financial learning, and the second is life skills that we really need to be succeeded in life, no matter what, from which industry we belongs to. And unfortunately, in our education system, we lack both the training, both the both the learning is not available. So looking at this, and at the same time, we are just overfeeding informations to the students. That is the traditional way of learning. Looking at this, in the year maybe 2017 18, later 2017 or 18, I came up with this because for a long time I was, I was an entrepreneur running a training company. I had my entire career as a trainer in different companies. Last I was in IBM, and then I have jumped into entrepreneurship. The question that came to my mind, is this education system really helpful for our students? Are this, is this education system really helping to create the next generation stronger, or coming up as a character that we are looking inside them? And the answer was no. We should have a school of alternative thinking. From there, when I have learned AR/VR during that time, that this particular idea came up to my mind with this technology. That time, this physical learning is not there. We were not aware of this particular terminology, but I have realized that There has to be some alternate system of learning that will, you know, engage students more with the educational system. It's not only pouring information inside their brain and getting good marks in the exam. If we can use the right system, the result will automatically come. If we use the right process and the right system, the result will automatically come. We don't need to stress on this particular area. And see, we are stressing so many students every day and night. We are getting informations like, students are committing suicide because of the pressure of the education and all these things. So in the year 2019, just before lockdown, I had started an experiment with my own children and three other students, those who are close to my periphery. I have started a research on them. We had some ready-made educational content, not from India, outside India, but those are pertaining to our syllabus. And I have started helping these five students. Let me name them so that, I'm really happy to introduce them. They are Adira, Arav, Kritika, Prajusha, Narmin, and Risha. These five students we have started with to help them learn with virtual reality. Very few before lockdown, and then after lockdown started, and the entire thing. I mean, it was not a professional try. It was just a try that to implement something new and to see that how students are responding. But the research, we were not able to conduct that at that particular moment. Later on, in the year 2022, last year, when I have again started with these five students, we have seen a 50% growth in their result in the last academic year. Amongst them, Arav is a very slow learner. His school gave him notice 3 times to change the school to his parents. But now he has scored more than 75% marks in his last academic year, learning through VR. How? Just now, Kuldeep sir has told that in virtual reality, especially in augmented reality, what happens? You can experience, like, let's take an example of heart. If you wish to learn heart, you don't need to watch a 3D video or something. Just with the help of augmented reality, you can have a complete 3D model of heart inside of you, in front of your desk, and you can just check all the parts of it, and you can understanding will be better. In case of virtual reality, this is the next level. You can actually teleport it inside the heart. You can go through the heart. You can see all the parts and particles and how the heart functions, everything. And thus the retention level, retention percentage of that information in our brain rises. As the retention increased, the student will definitely outperform than their peers. In recent past, I just read this article, few months back, that a research has held in Stanford University, where some of the students has been, they have exposed to this virtual reality learning, and they have outperformed 20% than their peers. So this is a very proven method. Maybe going ahead, I would like to throw some more light on this particular topic, because I am doing research on this retention of data for almost more than 1.5 years now. So how this is related with our neurons and brain, that if we have time, I can enlighten that a little more. But to answer your question, Krishna, as of now, I think, yeah, this is the reason. Thank you.
Totally agreed. Skills is really important in today's time, and we'll talk more about it. Before that, we have our another member who have joined the session. So I would like to first introduce him. He is Raghul. He is the CEO of Bazaar, working in developing multiple immersive content in AR, VR, and XR for the last 6 years. Now, with Bazark, he is in the metaverse movement to build experiential training scenarios for industries, helping them scale the training processes across their teams, consulting companies on best strategies and solutions to adopt and help them build metaverse and Web 3.0. Welcome, Ragul. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna. Thank you for the introductions. Sorry, I am late for the discussion. I
Not a
got
problem,
lost.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll
So
continue with
yeah,
the session. Yes.
hi Kuldeep, hi Dhriti, and
Yes.
hello to the panel here.
Hi.
Namaskaram.
So yeah, happy to join this discussion. So I've been in this space and and Bazaar, and we've been developing solutions with companies for the last four or more years, and we yeah very So yeah, very early adopter from 2017 times when the Oculus Rift came in. Um, yeah, we have we have experimented a lot in the space of VR, AR. I'm sure like Kuldeep is also here. There is everyone has in the space has tried to make the solutions, and what we have learned and we have put into our workflow with our new platform, that is the Express 3D platform, which is a 3D manual and a 3D content creation platform, where is the visual learning language is quite powerful, and taking it to different sectors is going to happen, and then but taking it in a form that people can relate to, and then start understanding easily is very important. And that's the thesis we are taking forward. And yeah, happy to, if there's any questions or something that I can answer, or something I can say, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. We'll talk more about it. So for we'll continue with this session. Now I just want to know more about the skills since Diptiji is talking about skills, life learning skills, and financial skills, and we are also a lot more driven by skills. So Kuldeepji, what importance do you think a skill person has, or what role does a skill plays in the life of a student or anybody for that matter when we are looking for jobs or building a career or maybe growing in our life? So how do you think skills are important, and how can digital or AR/VR contribute to that movement?
Definitely. Thank you, Krishna. Thanks for the lovely question. Uh, I think skills is something a very, very basic and primary thing that everyone strives for in their entire life. Let's talk about how we gain the skills. There are multiple ways in which we can gain the skills. We can gain the skills by reading books, by watching videos, by uh, you know getting involved in a certain activity, through PPTs, through many other channels of getting that skill. A very basic and fundamental thing is that we, since our childhood, we stay and we live in a 3D world. We have been accustomed to live in a 3D world. And whatever information that we are consuming, may it be from books or videos or PPTs or any other medium, is through a 2D platform. It's just a one way of communication and which is not immersive, in which people are not engaged. With AR and VR, it provides that kind of an immersion and interactive experiences that completely captures the learner's attention. The level of immersion in VR, since the TG mentioned that she's more into the VR side of it and the education side of it, the level of immersion in virtual reality based learning is somewhere around 98%, which is the highest in any forms of learning. Everyone might have gone through the Dale spoon of learning in their lifetime. And as for the Dale spoon of learning, whatever we read, we just remember 20 to 30% of that. Whatever we watch as like visual and audio part, as a visual and audio part of it, We understand somewhere around 40 to 50% of that. But whatever we do it by our own selves, if we are involved in that entire experience, then the level of immersion is more than, like, 70 to 90%. Through virtual reality, you're actually part of that experience. Very beautiful example Priti gave about how you can go inside the heart and see all the arteries and veins by yourself, right? That level of immersion you cannot get in any other kind of learning. So, it is completely enhanced engagement. It's also an experiential learning because it enables the learners to interact with virtual objects, scenarios, and simulation. And it's a complete hands on approach. It's also an active learning in which the two people are actively involved. And because of that involvement, we can solve problems, we can have the analytics around it, we can have more and more visualization embedded between us while getting that learning. Now, if you're going through that kind of a learning, definitely whichever skill that you're opting to learn, that skill you will learn in the most effective manner. I'll give you one example of Walmart. In fact, one of the best examples which are there right now. Walmart has trained 17,000 employees uh, in virtual reality for of their blue collar workforce, and what they have been able to achieve is the same kind of a training for a skill that used to take around 8 hours. The same kind of training that they are able to do it in just 15 minutes with more retention and with unlimited times of practice and with right set of analytics embedded in the virtual reality based software itself. Now, this is saving a lot of time, is giving you more immersed and new ways of learning. And also there's collaboration between the people because it's a metaverse that they have created around that. So definitely plays a very important role. Uh, as a company, Arjuna Lens is also striving towards this really big vision of making India a skill first country. Talking about a skill first country, we recently, just last month, have started I am skill first movement, in which we started off it from Delhi and then took it to Gujarat and it's going to go all over India. So on. Right now, also, team is in Delhi who's promoting this I am skill first session. In that also, we are saying that if you have the skills, the only way to get jobs and to eradicate unemployment in some or the other way is the way you can get skilled. It's not that the jobs are not there. There are a lot of jobs, but 85% of the jobs are empty because not because the manpower is not there. Manpower is there. Manpower is not skilled. So skills really has a very very big kind of a role in everyone's life, and everyone should have definitely skills.
Totally agree to that. Skills are really important, and we all might agree that the place where we are here, or no matter where I am standing, or you guys are standing, or maybe even our audience. So it is all because the skills that we have gained, or the skills that we are maybe actually gaining throughout the process, that is what is helping us to grow in everyday life. Moving on to Ragul, we are talking a lot about digital learning, skills, training. So, since you are in the AR VR domain creating content, how do you think that the technology AR and VR can help or foster creation of content that can help in skilling, upskilling, or bring in the concept of digital learning through AR and VR?
Yep. So AR and VR, in terms of content, yes. So all AR VR experiences are more than the two dimensional screen. That in the first place itself, firstly, is something any new immersive experience, any new experience seen by a person, somebody who's seeing it for the first time, always is wowed by the immersive feel. So that in itself, I feel um, um, is a very good validation. If anybody's seen a new person actually experience a VR or AR thing, he's like, whoa, because for so many years people have been like just looking at this traditional 2D displays when those things cannot be visualized in these mediums. The first time when somebody sees something in VR or in this in AR, as as we can call it, the phygital medium, they're really um, immersed in this. And from content creation point of view, I feel there is a lot of content creators out there right now. uh, I think the best way is to, from what we've learned, is in terms of learning experiences, to keep it shorter durations, 3 to 4 minute content sizes, or 5 minute content sizes works better, because the duration the user can experience within these spaces, they can really like really understand them. And longer experiences, people can get the attention spans can go. And the other thing is the way we design this content. The emphasis should not be generally not try and create a PPT in a 3D or a digital world, and more like take advantage of the space we can design for, like, so people can actually interact with these spaces, so they can touch buttons or touch objects. So you really not want a 2D interface or or cards lying around. You can, anybody creating content in this space should really think beyond the two dimensions display. So they can think about 3D objects, like like a real tree or a plant, or like if you're talking about like interactable objects, can be spheres, cubes, um, those kind of things that the user can not experience in the two-dimensional screens, the mobile phones, laptops, tablets. That when it comes into AR and VR, when you can see that they have depth, and it is like, it is not just a card, there is more immersion. So that's my understanding. And yeah, I'm also learning. We have this technology update evolving each week, and with new players coming in the space, it just keeps evolving. Yeah.
Dhriti ji, you were talking about the research work that you have done and the results that you have got. So my question would be, what challenges do you see? Like, we, since it is proven and we all agree to that, then what according to you are the roadblocks or the challenges that is preventing us, or everyone for that matter, to implement this in real time? Like, why are we not where we want this tech to be or the concept to be?
Yes. So, Krishna, yeah, of course, I will talk about the challenges. The main challenge that I have faced in the era of 2017-18 is the awareness, less awareness. That was a burning challenge that even today I have. I still, I am promoting VR selflessly since 2017-18. That time, even I don't have my business in respect to VR, but still I was promoting VR as an enthusiast, just to make people aware that this technology has an immense potential to grow. Still today I'm still doing this awareness, free awareness session in different platforms, posting information, latest informations in my social media. But still I'm facing these challenges of mind blocks of people. There are myths related to virtual reality and acceptance. I mean, less acceptance. These are the three areas that of course, I mean, along with other areas that in our country we don't have much resources, and resources are costly at the same time. So these are other problems. But when we don't have the basic awareness amongst the people, it's becoming very tough for us, those who have I mean, set our target to take India to the world map of VR. It's really tough for us to pave our way to that particular uh, road. As Raghul, right now, he was just explaining that how virtual reality and augmented reality, helping in content creation. So I just want to share one of the experiences. Mm, we were creating content since 2021, okay, in different fields of VR. So when the first challenge that we faced, that, you know, if we want to learn our students in India, then we should create some contents relevant and pertinent to our syllabus. We cannot, just download some contents from elsewhere. Those are available, but those are not relevant to our syllabus or our educational system. So that will not help them to grow. So when we started creating these things, the when I was in search of resources, it was a pain for the entire team. And I really thankful to Ajna Lens that that problem they have solved for me forever. I have already hired someone from Ajna Lens, and I'm looking forward to have good resources in VR. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to strengthen my team, because virtual reality contents are very much engaging. As Raghul says, as Kuldeep so says, that it's basically immersive content. So how it is different from 2D and 360 or VR? So in 2D, let me take a very common example. We all watch movies, correct? When we go to cinema hall and we watch movie, what we usually do, hundred of people, we are sitting and watching to a big screen together. The moment you look right or left, you you might see your friends or someone unknown sitting next to you, but you can see them. That is a 2D view that we are watching. But in virtual reality, once we wear that headset, if it is not a cave system, if we are the moment we are wearing that headset, we are completely trapped into it. Once you are trapped into a system, your immersion goes to completely a different level. As Krishna, you were discussing that what challenges I faced during my research. For the first time, when the students wear that headset and they have started exploring, they felt dizzy. And it's quite normal. As Raghul says, we cannot, create a content of unlimited time. It has to be short, crisp, to the point. So that once the immersion started, quickly it should get over with a proper understanding, because virtual reality grabs multisensory organs. It catches the control of our multisensory organs, and that should be very quick. Otherwise, those who are not habituated exploring this type of content, they might feel dizzy. Then sometimes I have seen students, though they enjoy this kind of content very much, but it takes some time to get habituated in every new learning process. So yes, these are the few of the challenges that I am facing right now.
Acceptance is actually a big thing here because people are not ready to change. Because one thing can be, according to my perception, is that transitioning, moving from one thing to another is always brings in the friction. And now with respect to AR and VR, we are at a point where we have to transition, leave away the 300 years old education system and move ahead to something that is completely different. So that is also one of the added factors that comes into play. But apart from that, what I feel is there is more to it. It could be cost, it could be the hardware that we are wearing, it could be the form factor, it could be the comfort. So on the same lines, I would like Kuldeep ji to add his views. Like, what does he thinks that what are the added factors that is acting as a roadblock or a hindrance in adopting such tech?
Thanks, Krishna, for the question. When we ask this question to the enterprises, a lot of enterprises mention that cost and infrastructure is something that is one of the hindrances, and it's because they have to do substantial investments in the hardware and the software and the infrastructure around it. And even for the matter of fact, even the colleges and the schools, the education institutions, they are also stating the same thing. But the major problem that even Ritesh mentioned over here is not that. The why, if we go to the fundamental level of it and understand that what is the deeper problem in this, the deeper problem in this, why is this possible? Why all of this content creation, the availability of high quality content for the education, for AR and VR experiences, why it is this big challenge and why it is expensive? What, the only reason behind it is that to develop the immersive content which is required for any kind of, like, 3D models or software development or all of these things, you require certain kind of expertise. You also require, like, involvement of the subject matter experts, and also uh, a lot of other elements are involved in it. Because all of these elements are involved in it and there is less awareness around this, the cost is high, and that's why the adoption of this is little lower as of now. But things are changing since Arjunalens is also, like how the video also mentioned, how we are creating the complete ecosystem of extended reality in India. Now it's little bit of our contribution towards growing the ecosystem by creating different kinds of programs. And one of the major programs under that is Arjuna created program, in which we are teaching all the key components of creating the XR experiences, may it be 3D modeling, interactions, UI UX elements of it, digital twins, simulations, all the training kind of solutions, and all of that. Second thing is, what I feel is, in fact, there's a fear in a lot of enterprises because of the quality of the content is not standardized and benchmarked. Because the content quality is not standardized and benchmarked, a lot of enterprises, they, who even want to implement this, they implement it by some, some or the other vendors, and then people who won't have that kind of capabilities and things like that. And after implementing it, they would feel like, okay, it's working or it's not working. And then the entire, if it's not working, if the content quality is not standardized or benchmarked, then it might work for them or it might not work for them. That's one of the biggest challenges what even enterprises are facing. But if a person who's creating this content has gone through a level of yeah, understanding of the subject, and he has worked with the subject matter experts who has created the content in such a way that the form factor of the headset and the form factor of the and the quality of the content and all of that is matched in such a way that the outcome of that training or the outcome of that education is combined with the analytics. At that point, the actual usage of it would be visible. And that challenge, what they were thinking initially, would become an opportunity to scale it up. And currently, if any organization or any educational institution wants to deploy it on a large scale, then they would want to scale it with a high speed, because things are changing in the technology industry on a very big level as well.
Definitely on point. Just one point that I would like to add would be gamification of the training content. Like if the user can play it like he's in a game, then again the acceptance or the interest arises. But moving forward, we've been talking a lot about digital learning, the use cases. One question that comes to my mind right now is like digital learning or the concept of learning through AR and VR is wide. It can be implemented across any domain for that matter. So Dhriti ji, like, is there while you were researching or when you picked up that topic, like I'll go ahead with VR content, I'll do a research, so was it any particular kind of content like okay, I'll go with medical or I'll go with manufacturing or I'll go with something that is below K-12? So have you picked any particular domain for that matter? And if yes, then why so?
So, Krishna, this question is something that reminds me of my, starting days. So, the time when I have been introduced to VR, the first thing strikes to my mind is education. Let me tell you why. Since 2017, I'm exploring VR not as a professional but as a passion of mine. And I was traveling throughout the world. I have been to Sweden, I have been to China, and I used to attend the workshops, the seminars, exhibitions to learn VR. In the year 2019, when I have been to China, I have seen that Chinese students of class 6 7, they are learning how to replace the DNA using VR. In that particular exhibition, the school has taken them to took them to the exhibition, and they are learning that. Everyone was clicking picture from India. We three were there, invited by the government, and I was just standing there looking at those happy faces, and something from my inside, it came up like, why not my country? Why not the students from my country will get this opportunity to revolutionize their study with this technology? And that day, because of that, basically I have been to China in the 2019 October. I came back on 26th of October. I still remember the date. And the lockdown has announced in the month of March 2020. In between that 4 5 months, I took the initiative, done a workshop with children of around 4 5 years, 4 5 standard student, and I have started my research. But due to the lockdown, though, I have to stop. That is a different story altogether. Don't want to get into this. So my basic interest and intention is to start with education. But uh, going forward into 2021 end or 2022, when I have started my career as and founded my company Distribution VR, that time I found that if I start my career with virtual reality in education, it will take a huge time for me to scale up the company. Because, as I said, the acceptance as well as the awareness, adults don't have awareness. How can I expect the students and their parents to be aware about this? Technology specialists, they are not ready to accept VR as a standard technology. That time in 2021 2022, now the market is opening, as Kuldev sir told perfectly. Now the requirements are, we are getting inbound requirements. But looking at this particular aspect, I have started with two different segments. One is real estate, and the other one is manufacturing. And we are creating marketing content for both the sector, completely interactive, immersive marketing content for both the sector. And really, we are getting good responses. Slowly, the responses are growing. And as we are, promoting and making people aware through our workshops and seminars, so now people, at least they are ready to talk to us. They are giving us slot to explain and give a demo. And I'm happy in this way, because this is something that is the bread and butter to my company. But my passion always lies to this research project. And in very near future, I'm planning to come up with some educational solution, definitely. So yeah, that's it.
That's a wonderful job that you're doing, and we really appreciate that. And I believe sessions like these, where we have a one-to-one session interactions with the audience between our panel members, is wherein we can spread the awareness and educate people to start off with. On the same lines, I would like Kuldeepji to add a few points on how important it is to come up with sessions or to build an ecosystem wherein everybody can work together and push this tech so that we represent our nation on the global level, not working as single entities, but collaborating and connecting with everyone who is in this domain and helping India lead this tech.
Great. Uh, Thanks, Krishna, for asking that question. Let me first talk about different kind of technologies which are in vogue right now. Every one of us, have been using certain kind of AI tools, right? Like I believe everyone present in this session might also be using a lot of AI based tools. Now AI came in somewhere around 4 to 5 years back, which was in boom, and at that point, India still could be in the forefront because it was something which a lot of other countries like China and countries from the West were working already on it. Now, at that point, India was, as a whole country, was a little negligent in terms of adopting artificial intelligence at that point. But today, again, we are kind of using all of those software. So if you ask me, like the kind of mentality that we have in India as a whole, not everyone, there are a lot of innovators as well, but accepting those innovators, you'll see the kind of mentality that people have. We have we have a consumer mentality. We have been consuming a lot of information from multiple mediums. We've been consuming information from, say, social media platforms, and then Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. None of these softwares, and now AI-based softwares are also not made in India. You know, but at least in the field of extended reality, we should be in the forefront. And for being in the forefront of it, we have to work in collaboration because collaboration is the key to progress in as for India as a country. Now, talking about collaboration, we have been collaborating with all the like maybe India's around 80 to 85 really good content creating companies, and we're trying to collaborate with all of them, build an ecosystem around it, build a community around it. In fact, many people from our team, like in fact, Krishna, you also are working really hard to build a community in India around augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality. Now, talking about us as Ashna we are, the recent developments. If people might have been following us, right from CES 2023, where we launched, we got a chance to represent India with a product called as Ashna, and we not only represented India over there, but also got the CES Innovation Award for the best true mixed reality headset from India, and also recently from AWE, where we got the award for the best enterprise use case for Arjuna Vidya. It's not that India is behind, India is there, but collaboration between all the people and working towards this technology. Because India being the youngest country in the entire world with an average age of 28, if we all come together and work together as one with a unanimous vision, definitely we can change the world. In the next 5 years, the only country who's going to be in the forefront of this extended reality technology would be India. And that's what I already foresee.
Totally. I think everybody would feel for it and everybody would agree to that. Together, we can make this nation thrive and make this nation feel proud for all the work that we are doing. So, we'll are all in time. A couple of minutes. So, we'll take questions from the audience. We have one in the chat box. I'll read it through and then we'll come across the answer. So Aditya is asking, will the AR VR domain boom in the way AI revolution is happening with the advent of Chat GPT for mass acceptance of audience? So Dhriti, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, surely I can. So, the first thing that I, want to say, Aditya, AR VR is not a technology that will be revolutionized. This technology will come and this will stay for long. You are completely right that AI is now everywhere. As Kuldeep ji also just mentioned, that AI is on boom, correct? But these are trends. These are comes and goes. AI with particular, the technology as AI, that is not exactly what ChatGPT and other tools are. AI is a technology which can be incorporated in different other technologies to make it more effective. So there is no comparison. AR VR is an industry, it's a technological transformation. It's a tool that can help people to get transformed in their life, in their career. So it will not, revolutionize something. It will come it will evolve and it will stay back. Maybe it transform to some other, form, but it will be there for quite some time, I believe. So that is from my side. Thank you.
Anything to add, Kuldeepji?
Yes, for sure. I'll just dwell a little deeper in the question and try to answer it in my way. So, the question over here I can read out is that will the AI real domain boom in the way AI is revolutionizing with the advent of ChatGPT for masses? Now, talking about the industries uh, that are adopting AR, VR, MR, basically everything that comes under the umbrella of XR. Now, automobile is an industry which has widely adopted it, right from Mercedes to BMW to uh, Maruti, even Maruti, Nissan. You talk about any automobile company, uh, it, everyone is kind of using it. Talking about industries like manufacturing industry, edtech, e-commerce, retail, finance. All the industries are adopting AR in some or the other manner. FMCG is using it a lot for their marketing and advertising side of it. Manufacturing companies are using a lot for their training and the human development, learning and human development. Everyone is kind of like associated and wanting to use it. They are already experimenting. It's a more like a fundamental level technology, as Dizzy also mentioned, in which a lot of other businesses would be built. It's like the internet. How now, right now, we cannot imagine our lives without the internet, right? To reach up to that level, initially when internet started back in 2002, um, everyone was like, "Hey, it's not gonna do well. Who's gonna shop online? Are you mad or what? Who's gonna go online and buy clothes until and unless I will go to the store and see the fitting myself? I'm not gonna buy." So people were, really reluctant initially in the early days of the internet also. But unlike the early days of internet, now it's not the early days of augmented virtual and mixed reality. Everyone kind of knows about it. It's the technology which has been adopted. It's a proven technology which has been adopted across industries, and it's here to stay. Everyone who's getting upskilled in this, everyone who's getting implementing this is just and just earning a lot of benefits of it. That's my belief.
I think a great point to end this session. So, finally, I would like to thank both of the members for agreeing to this session and sharing all your valuable insights. It was really wonderful, and I think everybody in the audience had a lot to learn and understand from your perspective. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.